when I realized all the trees were dying, I started to make heaters. And I wanted to try to collect free electricity. So I took a fishing pole and a washer and I casted it through that loop in those trees way up there. And then I drug a wire, this wire, all the way up and around the other side of the tree. And then I made a thing out of a broom handle that had a whole bunch of dangling copper wires that I dipped in graphene to try to catch free radicals. Down in the ground here is a copper radiator. I dug a hole all the way down. This was before I was all about not digging holes and doing any of that stuff. But I dug a hole straight down, I don't know, 10 feet, and I buried a copper radiator with these hose, with those wires, and ran them in through there. Now the antenna I brought from up there, and I ran the big wire through that hole. Now inside here has changed a lot, but I'll try to explain what it used to look like. So when I came back from Maryland, my house wasn't my house. My house was a stained glass room. And this place was a disaster. You couldn't even walk in here. So I drywalled the ceiling and cleaned it up, and I brought all my mom's stained glass stuff from the place where I'm at now, my old house, back over to here, and I made her this room. So back to power. In here, which is now, this room was not drywalled at all. It was bare walls, no floor, and I had brought the wire through the wall here, and I had made a whole bunch of magnets in a row down on a plank on the wall, and brought the wire through down to the wires that came in through there with the bucket. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you about the bucket. So I learned how to make batteries out of buckets using salt water and oil, and I was going to try to catch the free radical electricity that is floating in the air and harness it in plastic buckets and then put it to my heaters, right? So I got it all rigged up. I got the buckets going and such. I only had one bucket. I really didn't even get the bucket in line, because later on I found out that you're probably not supposed to be harnessing electricity. And I wanted to try and do it with less work, I guess. The buckets and the wire up in the tree, and it was just a lot of I don't know, chemicals and such like that. I wanted to try to get electricity with a littler object. So when I got all the magnets and the wires wrapped through, I had tested it the very first time, and I got electricity. And I was really excited, and I ran back in the house, and I went into the kitchen, and I told my mom. My dad was in the living room, and I go, "Mom, I got power." And boom, the house shook, and the power went off. My mom looks at me and says, "Maybe you don't." And the power went, boom, came back on. I just bowed my head, went back outside to work. And that was the first time I had the power knocked out on me. And the second time coincides with one of those rocks I have to tell you about. Be good.